things, you mentioned transportation. Yes. One of the things that just boggles the mind that we've been covering a lot on this show is the whole thing with Mitch McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao, the transportation secretary. And the fact that their family's wealth comes from the Chinese government, essentially. Yes. I don't know if you've been following Peter Schweitzer's work in Secret Empires, that book.
I have. In fact, years and years ago, I was blowing the whistle about Elaine Chao, Mitch McConnell, and their, mid-1990s dalliances with Maurice Shaw and many of the donors who were involved in Chinagate with both Bill Clinton and Al Gore. I mean, it goes back all the way back there to, the John Huang and Johnny Tree days. And,
no way. I didn't even realize that.
Wow. I'll send you some of the columns I was reading.
You got to send us some of the stuff. We have
everything old is new again, Rebecca.
We had a little Michelle Malkin, some Breitbart working relationship here. Where, yes, you have to bring that back up. Okay, my friend.
Yes.
Because it's astonishing to me that no one's reminding them. I mean, just recently, since she became transportation secretary, the Chinese government has gotten a deal, inked a deal with her father to basically nearly double his fleet of ships. Okay? I mean, this is how, it's so outrageous. It's so obvious. They put her sister-in-law on the board of the Bank of China, this massive, important government-owned bank in China. She's like one of only 2 foreign nationals on that board. That's it. And no background in her, nothing in her background to indicate why she should be on that board, but I'm sure she's the most qualified member of Mitch McConnell and Elaine Chao's family to get that job. And then his family, his brother-in-law, Elaine Chao's brother-in-law, gets a job from the Trump administration just this week. We have another job. He's put on a really primo position, controlling all sorts of money for pensioners. And he has no background, really, in private equity, nothing like that. But it's like, what the heck, man? This is like a swamp family, and nobody's bringing this up except for us.
Yes, thank goodness. Thank goodness that you are doing it, and Peter Schweitzer is doing it. And I will definitely tweet out some of the background pieces that I had done dating back to 2001. I mean, if you think about it, she and her husband have been cashing in on all of these revolving door connections now for 17 years, going back to her days as labor secretary under Bush. So, the thing is, of course, if this had happened under the Obama administration, every self-anointed watchdog on the right would be braying, not just about the domestic issues of, cronyism and nepotism, but, of course, the national security implications of all of this.
Of course, yeah. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, wait a minute, this guy is so dialed in to, the conservative Inc. that they're able to just shut everybody up, and everybody's able to say, we're okay with this. But you know what? This is how we lose. Because the people out here, the hobbits and the deplorables, my peeps that are in our listening audience, your peeps, they're not on board with this silence. Okay? And they're not going to take it anymore. They're angry about it. They said drain the swamp, and they really meant it. And I'm telling you, the Democrats eventually will pick up this issue if we don't police our own.
That's exactly right, and that's a message that I've been sending for the last 20 years too. We got to clean our own houses before we, tell anyone else to drain the swamp. And if that self-policing doesn't occur, it'll occur at the ballot box. And you're exactly right that the Democrats will pick up on this. They've sort of mumbled openly about resurrecting the whole culture of corruption theme that was so successful for them. And of course, that's why I called my book Culture of Corruption in 2009, was to throw it back in their faces. And here we are again with the GOP establishment in D.C. never learning. It's one thing to be so smug and say, oh yeah, the Democrats have learned nothing, since President Trump was elected. Well, what have you learned, GOP?
Exactly. And this is why, this is why it's so important to listen to you. And I'm so glad you came on, because you have this background in covering these people and being right on these issues for so long that it's like, it's like, yeah, I was saying this over a decade ago. Yeah, I actually wrote that,
I remember that.
And it's like, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I know. They didn't listen to me then, but maybe they'll listen, but it's like, and you were absolutely spot on those things. things, and spot on calling out the corruption of that period. And even tonight, I mean,